What if I told you that not only is atheism not true, but it's also a rationally and metaphysically indefensible position as well as a logical impossibility?
يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. How is everyone doing? Tonight I have a treat for you, as I'd like to call it. So this is something that's actually very personal to me, as I came to Islam from atheism. I've spoken about it on my TikTok extensively, but I left Christianity when I was very young, around the age of 10. And from that point up until I was around 18, I was an atheist. And only then did I accept Islam. But like I said, this is something that's very important to me. And this is something that I'm passionate about because I myself have experienced the darkness and the spiritual vacuum of atheism. So tonight I'm going to be refuting atheism by myself in just a few minutes. And this involves two lines of reasoning that are airtight, they are bulletproof, and there is no way around them. And we can do this by using two deductive arguments: the Kalam Cosmological Argument and the argument from Contingency. What is the Kalam Cosmological Argument? It's a simple argument and it follows three premises. Number one, everything that comes into existence must have a cause. Number two, the universe came into existence. Number three, therefore, the universe has a cause. It came into existence with what scientists are now calling the Big Bang, which took place roughly 14 billion years ago. Now, this argument works in tandem with the argument from Contingency. So now I'm going to explain what that is. There are two types of existences. There is contingent existences, which are existences that rely on other things for their existence. And we see them all around us. People are contingent existences. You're contingent upon your parents for your own existence. Not only that, but it's also that which exists, but could rationally not exist. It could have failed to exist. Now let's talk about necessary existences. This is something that cannot fail to exist. Exists independent of anything else. It sustains itself. It relies on nothing else. And every other thing in existence relies on it for its own existence. And that necessary existence is what we call God, or Allah in Arabic. Atheists would have you believe that there is no creator, there is no first cause, there is no such thing as a necessary existence. A rhetorical question, which doesn't really make much sense to me, is the multiverse theory, that this universe is a product of a multiverse where many other potentially infinite universes exist. This is actually an absurdity known as infinite regress. Infinite regress is the idea that contingent existences exist within a chain of infinite other contingent existences with nothing to ground their existence at the beginning. An example of this would be like saying a book floats, underneath it there's another book, underneath it there's another book, underneath it there's another book, and all the way down infinitely, books are just floating on top of one another with nothing to ground them at the bottom. There is no bottom. This is a logical fallacy, and a good way to demonstrate this is a simple question. I ask you, by Allah, if I brought you to a line in a store, and I told you, after an infinite amount of time passes, would you ever get to the front? The answer is no. Therefore, it is logically impossible and absurd to posit that there have been an infinite number of contingent existences or events that happened before us. If that was the case, we would have never been here in the first place. I want to make it very clear that this is not necessarily an argument for Islam, but what this is an argument against atheism. Christians use these arguments. Prominent example that I can think of off the top of my head is Thomas Aquinas. Aristotle used this argument. As far as Muslims go, Ibn Sina used this argument, and he was a Muslim philosopher. This simple line of reasoning, these two lines of reasoning, entirely refute atheism. There is no way around them. They cannot be argued around in any meaningful and logically sound way. Like I said at the beginning, it's a logical impossibility and an absurdity to posit that there is no creator, there is no first cause, and that everything exists infinitely back without anything to ground them in the beginning. If you enjoyed this and you found it beneficial, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for paying attention to my channel. Thank you for coming to my second long form upload. Once again, I'm trying to get myself established on YouTube. I'm coming from TikTok, and it's an uphill battle, but inshallah, we'll get there. But yeah, thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.